All right, I am going live now, or doing my story, and I had a lot of people ask me about the college recruiting process. So today my rant is on that process and how it works. So make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to share a ton of great information, and I'm going to discuss with you a couple of things too towards the end that I think you're really going to like. One of them is that I'm going to be doing a live webinar this month, actually in February. Don't have the exact set date yet, but it's going to be live, completely free, and I'm going to be presenting a whole bunch of topics, things that I'm talking about today, and a lot more in-depth stuff, and that way you can really start learning about the process, when to start, how to start. And I'm going to touch on a lot of those things today to give you that information, but make sure you stay tuned for this key information. We might even have a college coach on the webinar, so make sure you get that information. DM me if you need it, but let's get this show started. Let's start talking about the college soccer recruiting process. Let's go. So I want to start the conversation about college recruiting to give you a little background on myself and how I went through it. So I went to a Division II school down in Tampa, Florida, or near Tampa, and it's funny because I thought that all college coaches come to you, right? That's how I thought. I was like, I'm a good player. I'm gonna have coaches come to me left, right, and center. But that was because I was uneducated in the process. So obviously, I didn't start it until it was a lot later than I should have, and I'm gonna share when you need to start. But my point is that the second you need to start the recruiting process. Now, I played Division II. I did it for 4 years, and I always had the goal of wanting to go play top Division I, but I told you my story. I got hurt way too much and stuff, but one of the things that you're going to have to make a determination on is play time, right? If you go to a top Division I school, there's potential that you might not play, and you're going to have to be open to that fact and deal with that. So I'm going to touch on a lot of that stuff, but I wanted to give you that so at least you know about me, where I played at. And we were a very competitive program where I played. So stay tuned, here we go. So I want you to learn from me, okay? So like I said, I played Division II, and I did not start the recruiting process until almost the end of my junior year. Because like I said, I thought everybody came to me, right? And they don't do that. Coaches don't do that. They go after the 1%, and it's actually less than that of players. So it's like they'll go after like one kid a recruiting class. It's that small, right? I mean, it's that narrow. So now, it's not that I didn't have schools come after me. I had smaller schools come after me, the ones that I wasn't interested in. But it's, if you really want to go for, say, a top Division I program, you're going to have to do all the work. And that's what I want you to understand is you, as the athlete, whether it's soccer or not, and this is mostly about soccer, but it's consistent throughout all the sports, is you're going to have to go after it. You're going to have to go do that because that's the reality of it. And the thing is, by waiting that long, you're in big trouble because guess what? College coaches recruit 4 years in advance. So I'm going to give you an example. At my school, my coach had a whiteboard just for recruiting, and he had 4 years up there and players' names, positions, age, things like that, because you can have older players and things like that in Division II. And it was just like, nobody understood that he's recruiting 4 years in advance. And guess what? That's Division II. Now, I played for a very good Division II program. I mean, we used to play Division Is in win and tie, and I mean top Division I program. So it's not like I played for a very small or rinky-dinky school. I played for a top program. And it's hard because you think that it'll all come to you, but no, you have to go after it. And if you don't start the process early by your freshman year, I'm going to talk about this in 1 second, you're going to be in big trouble, and the schools that you really want to go to, you'll have no shot, not even a chance of doing it, okay? So stay tuned. I'm going to share a lot more. Be ready to go. So I want to run you down a couple of quick facts before I start talking about each year. Now, the quick facts for this. The first one is less than 1% of high school soccer players, athletes in general really, go on to play college sports. Now, I will tell you that because they don't know the recruiting process and how it works. But I will also say there is a school for everybody. So if you really want to play, there's a school for you. It just depends, are you going to put in the work to get there? And that's the question. You can play college soccer. That's not hard. The question is, are you going to sacrifice to get there? Are you willing to go play, for example, Division III first because you waited so long in the recruiting process to get where you want to go? So that's something that you have to answer. Are you okay with not playing college soccer, right? Whatever it is. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, an average college coach, and I got this from a friend of mine who coaches college. He's been coaching for over 6 years. He gets over 30 emails a day from potential recruits. And that's new recruits, by the way. So a day, think about that. He told me he looks at 10,000 kids a year. In the end, Every year, on average, he picks 3 kids. So he looks at 10,000 kids, and he's going to pick 3. Now, that's crazy. Here's the trick, though. You have to start early, and by that, what I mean you have to do is you have to create a list, find the schools that you want to go to, get organized, right? Organize them how you want. Maybe it's by division. You get all their key references. You research them. You know what division they play in, about the school, about the coach, things like that. Get their information. And then 3, you have to start recruiting the second you walk through the door of your freshman year. Because 99% of potential college athletes, like me, like what happened to me, don't do it until it's their junior year or later, right? So if you start early, you're going to be on that whiteboard list, for example, that a college coach will have and be like, you know what, I'm going to follow this kid because there's a couple things. Here are the rules, okay? Division I and Division II cannot contact you. They cannot contact you until your junior year, September 1st for Division I. Division II, I believe it's June 15th, okay? Now, Division III and NAIA schools can contact you at any point. So that's something to be aware of. However, you can contact them at any point. Any point. So you might send them, for example, an email. All right, and here's a question for you, and I'm going to share it for sure on the webinar. But how can you stand out if a college coach gets 30 emails a day? And I want you to think about it, right? And if you got a question, ask. But you need to be proactive in this, and I'm not going to give you all the answers. I want you to start thinking, how can you stand out in a college recruiting process when the average coach, and that's actually probably low, gets 30 emails a day, okay, from a new recruit or new recruits? So how can you stand out, right? And the sooner you can start, the better, right? And it's not just sending one message. It's not, okay, hey coach, here's my name, my contact, thanks, right? You're going to be off their list faster if you just do that. It's constant contact. It's like, especially freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, you're talking probably twice a month at a minimum of contact. Now, if you don't, I promise you, you will not be going to the schools that you want to, because it's like a job. Like, it's that much work, and you have to understand how important that is. If you're going to play college sports, it's a job to get there, and you really have to want it, because it's a process. It's a 4-year process. It's not 1 year, 2 years, and that's why I'm saying I made the mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Start early, start now. Now let's talk about your freshman year. Remember, I told you that the rules state that Division I, Division II cannot contact you. So your freshman year, you have to contact them. First, like I said, you got to make your list. You got to figure out what schools interest you, what division, and you have to be realistic with yourself. Ask yourself some key questions. Why do you want to play college? And are you ready to play? Because it's a big commitment, guys. I mean, it's huge. It sounds easy, right? If you think youth soccer is easy, college is no joke. College sports, athletics in general, is no joke. You're training at least 5 days a week. You have a game twice a week, plus you got to deal with school and social life. And if you can't manage it, 1, you won't be playing. 2, you might be kicked off the team. Okay? Now, you have to make sure you connect with your counselor and let them know that you're not just looking to go to a normal university to be a student. You're looking to be an athlete too. And that's a key step, is saying, okay, you know what? Counselor, whoever it is, your high school counselor, this is what I want to do. And if you go to them with your list, they're going to know that you're actually serious and say, these are the schools that I want to target. How can you help me? Please help me. Things like that. Because they'll help you. People want to know that you're going to take that step to do it. And it's not coming from mom and dad. It's coming from you. And I want to make sure you get that. It comes from you if you're going to be successful. Now, remember, you have to start the contact. You got to reach out to the coaches, and you have to make it happen. Okay? One good step is phone calls. Phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Lots of phone calls, because they can't contact you, but you can call them. All right, so let's jump into your sophomore year real quick. So at this point, obviously this is your second step. You need to continue to contact coaches. Again, I'd give you a minimum twice a month. Okay, that's following up, that's checking in, because the key is this, right? They want to see, a college coach wants to see if you're actually serious about their university. If you're only sending them a message every 6 months, they know you're not serious, okay? Because guess what? If you get recruited there, they're expecting you to be there for 4 years. They want people that are fully committed to their program. And if you're not committed now, when you're trying to get there, they know you're not going to be committed when you're there, okay? So you have to continue to contact coaches. I highly recommend preparing for the SAT or ACT, and this is something I didn't do. I didn't prepare for it. And it can really help you. Because guess what? The better scores you get, the better chance or higher opportunities for financial aid, right? The better test scores and things like that, better GPAs, the higher chance the school will give you more money, or you can get more money for college, okay? So make sure you do that. Take care of those things. And by your sophomore year, you want to make sure you and your team really start going to like college showcase events. Now, it's great to go to a showcase, but it's another step to actually get recruited from them. And what I mean is, you can go to a showcase, college coaches will be there. But if you don't contact them ahead of time and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be at this tournament, can you come watch me play? They're not there watching you play. They're watching the other players that have contacted them. And that's a key secret, because most people think, oh, I can just go to a showcase and I'm going to get recruited. No, no, not even close. You have to contact the coach ahead of time and say, hey, coach, I'm going to be at this tournament. Can you come watch me play? And they'll say yes or no. And you know what? Actually, they might not even say anything. Because remember, they can't contact you. If you call them and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be at this tournament, then they can say, yeah, we can make it, or we'll let you know if we can make it. But again, they can't reach back out to you unless you contact them. So you have to be mindful of those things. Is you want to be recruited, you have to contact the coach, let them know you're going to this tournament, or you can go to them and you're not getting recruited. All right, so I'm going to talk about your junior year now. Now listen, to be honest, if you've done everything that I've told you already, this is your most important year. If you haven't, right, you're just starting, you're in trouble, like I was, okay? Now, I say it's your most important year because everything for Division I and Division II schools goes live, right? I gave you those dates. By September 1st, Division I schools can contact you of your junior year. So guess what? They can call you, they can email you. So if you've already started contacting them, they already know who you are, and they might have interest in you. If you haven't talked to them at all, they don't. Let me be completely honest with you. If you haven't contacted a college coach by your junior year, you could be the best player in the world. They're not going to recruit you unless they're a small Division I. And I say that because they've already been hit up by other players. They've already been talking to other players for a while. It's exposure. It's these players that have contacted them, they're interested in because they know they're committed to the program, or that they would be committed because they've been starting the process that you've slacked off on. So that's why it's so important, because all this communication now starts. If you've been doing the things I'm telling you, then you have a fair shot. Okay, obviously you got to have the skill set to play there, but you have a fair shot of doing that. Now, a couple other things go live too. You can take unofficial visits. An unofficial visit essentially means that you can go to a university, meet the coach, see the facilities, things like that, out of your pocket. But now the coach can talk to you. And so that's a key thing, because you can go meet the coach, have an honest conversation with the coach, and kind of see where you stand. But again, if they don't know who you are, it doesn't even matter, because they're going to be like, well, who are you? Right? You know them, they don't know you. Okay? Now, the other thing is you have to register for the Eligibility Center. The NCAA Eligibility Center, the NAIA Eligibility Center, and this basically is a thing that lets coaches know that you're cleared to play college athletics. Okay? So if you don't have that, you can't play. It doesn't even matter. So that's a key thing. And again, you have to go to events, maybe a camp, to be seen, to showcase your talent. And you have to go to the showcases, and you have to contact coaches. If you've been following the timeline that I kind of given you in terms of contact and stuff like that, by senior, and this can actually happen in your junior year because contact goes live, you're going to start getting offers. Okay? Now, they might not all be the schools you want or whatever, but it's time to research if it's new schools. But the thing I want you to take away is do not rush. Right? If you get an offer, take your time, because while getting an offer is an exciting thing, and I got many offers, you don't want to just jump the gun and take the first one that comes to the door, especially if it's not a school that you're 100% set on or whatever. Even if it is a school that you want to go to, take your time, because it might not be as good as you want it to be. Maybe there's more money at play that you could maybe get, and there's a bunch of things that go into it. But don't rush, because once you commit, it's called a verbal commitment, right? You're not locked in, but it doesn't look good if you decommit. So if you say, for example, okay, yeah, I commit to your school on this offer, but then you get another offer from another school, and then you decommit, you're going to burn a bridge. And you can't burn a bridge in this industry because it's such a small world. It's this small. So you got to be very careful with that. Now, once you sign, and when you get to that point, and don't panic on that, okay? You have to keep the communication going. Of course, like always, you got to be playing at a very high level, continuing to play at a high level, and making sure that you keep communication going. Just because you get a verbal commitment or you sign your national letter of intent in February of your senior year, it's not over, right? You have to keep making sure you're communicating, because the coach is going to be making sure that you're doing the right things. And if you drop off, how are they going to trust you moving forward for the program? Because the work's just starting at that point. Okay. Now, be mindful of those things and be ready to go, because it's a challenge. It's exciting though. The recruiting process is simple if you do it the right way. And I hope this has helped you. Two things. The first one is, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live feed. I'm going to go live, and I'm going to bring in one of my players that I helped, and he's playing at Jacksonville University, which is NCAA Division I, named Inti. So I'm going to tag him in this. You guys can get to know him a little bit, maybe look at his page or whatever. But we're going to go live tomorrow and discuss, and I'll bring him in. We'll discuss, his process in college recruiting, how it went, and just kind of tie home everything and give you guys that relative that it's possible. Now, of course, you have to be a good soccer player and you have to do the right things, but I'll let him share his story and what happened. And, I've been working with him for 3 years plus now. And one of the most talented players that I've ever worked with, actually the most talented player I've ever worked with, especially at his age. And, he's playing Division I. So it's possible, guys. You can do it. It just depends if you're going to work to get there, okay? So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing a webinar. And then just stay tuned, guys. Let's keep moving. You got topics you want me to discuss? Let me know, because I need to keep bringing value to you. Let me know what you want to hear. Do you like the stuff that I'm posting? I want to hear from you. You tell me. What do you think? So I'm going to put up a place today for you to put down your email, so that way you can get notifications about it. And I'm going to post stuff on this Instagram page and stuff, so that way you can go watch it. And I'm going to really break everything down, explain the whole process for you. Because for this was just a snippet, right? Just to give you a little piece, this college one was a good one. What else do you want to learn? What else do you want me to discuss? And then stay tuned for that webinar, okay? I'm going to be sharing everything about it. And it will be towards the later end of February, and you'll get all the details. And you need to go there. If you want to play college, little idea about it. But I want you guys to come to this webinar so you can really see it and get the idea of what actually happens in the college recruiting process. And then, on top of that, if you guys got questions, ask me. Let's talk. I'm more than happy to help. This is what I do. So if you got a question, bring it. Soccer, you have to watch, and you have to be there. And I'm even going to have a college coach. We're supposed to have a college coach in this webinar. So that's huge. We're gonna have a question and answer segment of it, and you can ask questions, have me answer it, have the college coach answer.